Yo, it's the deal. Once again, coming at you for a second time today. It's your player partner, Bobby Double Yay J. And like always, I got some shit that I want to say. I want to readdress a topic that I wasn't fully able to that I wasn't fully able to get into just more than in its entirety. I want to revisit this situation, but before we jump into it, I want to allocate enough time for YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to do what it is that they do when they do what they do, to send out those notifications and let everyone know that I am currently live, unique in every way. Peace and blessings to you, Queen. I see an abundance of prayer, protection, prosperity over you and your loved ones. Yeah, I feel like it's absolutely necessary and important to my endeavors and goals of getting the people to see how amazingly powerful we are as a collective, as a community. So therefore, JG, peace and blessings, complex blackness, peace and blessings. There was no Latinos in the Mississippi Delta during that time. So they're dumb for being outraged. I'm not gonna go as far as saying that they're dumb, but what I will say, and we're gonna diagnose the behavior of certain Hispanic, Latino, Chicano social media influencers. It has a lot to do with envy. The reason why a lot of Hispanic won't or desire to be included in our affairs as it pertains to entertainment, because they have not amassed a large enough following to make them multimillionaires. They have not appeased or created and fostered relationships with the Jews who own the distribution and the commercialization of hip hop, the movement, not the culture. Our culture cannot be minimized to a specific genre of music. You're not going to call our culture R&B, or you're not going to call our culture jazz, blues, or no. Our culture is much bigger than just hip hop. Hip hop is the movement that derives from the culture, the pain, the oppression, the good times, the hard times. That's what hip hop is. To be hip, to be hop, to be cool, to be what's current, what's trending, what's popping, what it is. You feel what I'm saying? And we have always been at the forefront of what's cracking, what's popping, what's hip, what's trending, the next fast, the next trends. Other races come to us to see what's trending, to take it back to their communities and replicate it. Man, it was, remember they was calling the French braids, the Kardashian braids, the big French braids, the boxer braids. Remember it was when it was undesirable to have lips that resembled African American. But now Angelina Jolie, she's prized because of her lips. The Kardashians, they go and get fillers, and other individuals who follow the trends that the Kardashians take from us and take back to their community. Now it's a beautiful thing to have a full set of lips. Now it's a beautiful thing to have a nice, shapely rear end. But there was a time where they mocked our women, they criticized our women for having shapely bodies, because they desired females that had the bodies that resemble 11 and 12 and 10-year-old boys, flat chested, flat behind, short haircut. And that goes back to them when they were in their communities of sorts, right? When they were in their communities back in Europe. And in order for a boy to become a man, he had to go fellate the high priest. He had to go perform fellatios on a high priest in order for him to say, I am a man. He had to take the semen, the bodily fluids from a man's who's in a position of a high priest genitalia to say, I am a man. Even when you go to the Spartans, the Athens, and all these other Caucasian civilizations that's known for being great in their respected in their in all of their history books and whatnot as being warriors. In order to be considered a real warrior, you have to and we're back. Forgive me, we are experiencing some technical difficulties, right? Yesterday, when one of my player partners hit me, he was like, "Hey, cuz, I think they blocked you." I'm like, "What you mean? They blocked me?" He was like, "Cuz, I can't find your page on YouTube. Like, it's gone." So I used the browser, didn't sign into my account, went into a separate browser, went on my page, and my page was gone. So I don't know what is going on, but we're back. We're about to get it cracking. Let's get into this content, right? So as I was talking about, in order to be considered an apprentice of a warrior, you had to go and sleep with a high-ranked warrior, soldier. You had to take his fluids into your alimentary canal, your rear end, your anus, in order to get validation and veneration and accepted into their their brotherhood of sorts. But we're gonna get into this content, man. The Hispanic influencer, once again, they're crying. They feel like we're excluding them, but we're not excluding you. Your music isn't good. If your music is good and you can make millions of dollars, see, the thing about these Jewish peoples, right? They value the almighty dollar. And they seen how powerful economic systems was. So that's why they went around the world putting these central banks into place so that they can control the money. When wars break out, little do a lot of people know, but when wars break out, it's mostly the Jews that's funding both sides. Here, I'll loan you this amount of money, and I'll loan you this amount of money, and y'all fight it out and shout a victor win, and this is what I'm going to need. Let's establish a central bank. Let's get with those American folks and let them come over here and establish a democracy to protect our investment, which is through the central bank. But I say all that to say this: the Jewish individuals is always going to follow the money. At the Latino community and Chicano community, Hispanic community was making quality music that the world can relate to, bob their head to, dance to, and all this and all that, the Jews will find a way to partner with them to distribute that music. We're not the we're the creators of hip hop, but we're not the owners of hip hop. The Jews own that. You know, cats like Russell Simmons, no disrespect to him, and a couple other influential guys that was there in the inception of the commercialization of hip hop and the distribution through the world. They sold it out. Anytime a African American person, a melanated person, creates something that goes beyond the confines of the ghetto, they come and steal it from us. They come and say, listen, we want to buy you out. This is how much we'll give you. Most black people are like, no, this is my golden goose. Why would I sell my golden goose? And they say, well, listen, man, we're going to come over here. We're going to hurt you. We're going to unalive somebody that you love in your family. And then we're just going to take your golden goose by force. Or you can take this $100 million, shut up and go on about your business. And a lot of people do that. I don't know if y'all familiar with the story of Sam Cooke, but Sam Cooke stood up to the mafia as well as these Jewish executives, right? He stood up and said, no, man, if it's our music, we should be able to distribute our music as we choose fit. We should have the rights to our masters and our intellectual properties and whatnot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk up out of this contract. You can have that. Hold on to that. You know, good. What good is the contract if you don't have the talent? And I'm going out to acquire talent. Sam Cooke started his own distribution company, his own production company. He was ahead of his time. But you know what Sam Cooke downfall was? Sam Cooke loved that P-U-S-S-Y. And they knew his routine. And when he go to Los Angeles, we already know where Sam going to go. Sam going to go over there and get him one of them bad little females. And he going to go up in there in that room and, you know, run that pole up in her. But they had already had people in place to call them. Sam here, an African-American hotel attendant. They went there on Figueroa, and they got rid of Sam. And they had the black woman to take the blame for unaliving Sam Cooke. The Honorable Malcolm X told us that they would have one of us to unalive one of us just to say that one of us did it. And you see that throughout history. Anybody that challenges this Babylonian system and they look like us, they get eradicated. But let's get back to the content. Hispanics is crying once again, and they're feeling neglected and overlooked because Ryan Coogler did not give them representation in the movie Sinners. I can understand why Ryan Coogler put the Choctaw Indians in there. I am a descendant of Choctaw Indian. My great grandmother, who was biracial, she was part Native American, part African American. Her parents died. And when her parents died, one of the chiefs from the Choctaw Nation, when they switched it, we'll get into that at a later time. When they switched it up, being that she was biracial, she was part what they called their version of Choctaw. He went and got her and her brother, and then he filed the paperwork to be a Choctaw under the 5-tribe freedman. You know, they had to put the freedman on there to denote and show that this individual is biracial or this person is black. If you don't believe me, we can get into it before we can get into this before we get into that. I'll show you. You know, they took my people identity, they took the land, and they began to do whatever they chose to do. So we're gonna go right here. This is my ancestry tree on ancestry.com. So this is my great-great-grandmother, and her father is Reverend Israel Fossum. His mother is Ani Cha Akisha, which was a princess in that tribe. And her father is, hold on. And her father or her great-great-grandparents is Minko P. Hayo. So let's go to my great-great-great-grandmother. And I'll show you. This is my tree. This is me right here. This is my tree, Washington family tree. Bobby Jones, Ed Washington. Ed Washington is like my great-great-grandfather or something like that. Or he's my great-great-great-grandmother, Celia Fossum's son or something like that. At, you know, doing that breakdown, we became Washingtons and so on and so forth. So let's get into this, and I'm gonna show you that I'm blood related to this lady here. Celia Folsom, Indian Territory, USA, Choctaw Nation, Indian Territory. So we're gonna stop that right there, and we're gonna go here. Bear with me, bear with me. See, we got to know our identity so we can better understand who we are as a people. Once we understand who we are as a people, and that our identity is actually tied to the land, the soil, then we can feel better about ourselves. That's our land. This is mine. You understand what I'm saying? They can't feed me all this BS and say you this, that, and third. I am a melanated, carbonated being. Whether I choose to identify as Choctaw, African American, or whatever, I have the knowledge to make an informed decision on what I want my identity to be. But let's get into this. I'm gonna show you, because I know it'd be a lot of disbelievers and all this and all that. This is on a doll's roll. So this is my great grandmother, who was part Native American, the dark-skinned Native American individuals, but part Native American and part indigenous. I don't even know what to call it at this point, because you have melanated, carbonated people that was here before the Native Americans that we associate with America. So this is my great grandmother, great grandmother, Cecilia Folsom. And this is some of the documentation. Forgive me, my internet be tripping, man. Hold on, let's see. Okay, you see Celia Folsom. Let's go to the next one. And this here, if I'm not mistaken, is the application that the guardian of my great grandmother submitted to the 5 tribes, to the 5 civilized tribes. This is the application that they had to do in order for her to be recognized, her and her brother to be recognized as a member of the 5 civilized tribes. The specific tribe was Choctaw. And I guarantee if a lot of you all research your genealogy and research your bloodline, a lot of y'all will arrive to the conclusion that many of y'all are what can be considered the white folks version of Native American as well. But I showed you this. This is the application and so on and so forth. It's kind of blurry. You really can't read it, but this is what this is. Cecilia Folsom, what is your number? What is your name? Or what is your name? A. Joe Hall. I want to enroll some orphan children of Weenie Wade, now deceased, the children of Cecilia Folsom in, I can't tell what that is. Something Folsom resides in Creek Nation. Their father is a non-citizen. Who did Weenie Wade? I really can't see the rest of it, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. So I can understand why Ryan Coogler will give them the Choctaw Nation acknowledgement in this film, because of a lot of us have that in us. A lot of individuals, when they change their identity, when they went and seized the land, when the United States Army went and seized the land from the melanated Aboriginals, indigenous people, and started this thing called the 5 cent or 10 cent Indian, to where you can come and you can pay and say, okay, I am Native American, and being that I am Native American, I have ties to this land. And that's how a lot of white folks got the up on everybody, because they seized the land by way of stealing our identity. But that's not here nor there. We're going to get into this content, man, and we're going to discuss why Hispanics now are so adamant about stealing our identity in the same manner that the Europeans stole our identity. If you do your research, you will find out that the original Hebrews, not Jewish people, because Jewish or ish means to be kind of, sort of, near to, like goldish, darkish. What else is some more ishes? Fakeish. You know what I mean? Ish, ISH. or is, it means to be similar to or close to. So when we talk about the Jewish people, we're talking about a people that stole the identity of the Hebrew people and called themselves Jewish because they wasn't the real Jews. I think it's called the Ashkenazian, Kalakazian Jews or something like that. People that was from Eastern Europe. That's why a lot of Jews are Jewish people when they seize what is known as Palestine, that portion of the Middle East. When they seized that land, they recruited people from they recruited people from Germany, they recruited people from Austria, they recruited people from Russia, they recruited all these people who were considered Caucasians, and they said, listen, man, we're gonna come to this land, and this is gonna be our land, and this is what we're gonna identify as. They recruited people from Poland, but they stole the identity of not just the Palestinian people, but us. It talks about the color of Solomon. It talks about the color of Queen Sheba. And these people were black people. Whenever you read the first books of the Bible, that's nothing but black history, melanated history, because all those individuals was dark-skinned people. But I digress. Let's get into this content, man. And I want to know, like, why the Hispanics so obsessed with being included in everything that we do, but they exclude us from everything that they do. They don't even hire us. Am I lying? Go to a taqueria, as I have said and emphasized time after time before. Go to a taqueria and try to get a job. They're going to act like they don't speak English. If you go ask for application, no, Mina, no. Mina, no. Si habla en español. Now, if you can speak the language, that's the code. That's your key. That's the way in. If you can speak Spanish, you can be darker than me and si habla en español, poquito español, por favor, señorita. If you can do that, then they'll let you in, because language was the key to get into certain places, get around certain people. If you spoke the language, then you know the code. If you don't speak the language, then you don't know the code. Get the fuck up out of here. So you're going to a taqueria, and if you see a dark-skinned person, you don't be astonished or amazed when they start, hey, español, Javier, por favor, speaking fluent Spanish. They'll hire you if you're black, but you got to be a black that's under their indoctrination. You got to be a black that submit to their ideologies, which is a reflection of what their oppressors taught them. You know, a lot of Hispanics say, oh, you speak English. The white man colonized you. You speak Spanish. The white man colonized you and your ancestors too. Because Spanish is a European language, is it not? It's a Latin language, but it originates from out of Europe. French, Spanish, Portuguese, all that is derivatives from Latin. But I don't want to digress. Let's get into this content. You know, when I get on here and I talk about race relations between us and the Hispanics, a lot of people say, he's a racist. I'm a racist because I'm speaking my truth, but Hispanics can go on the internet and say the N-word and call us mayates and monkeys and say all this derogatory shit, and we forgive them. All is forgiven. But when I get on here and I speak my truths from my studies, my extensive studies, my interactions with different cultures and my travelings and so on and so forth, then I'm a racist for calling out inter-minority racism. So we're going to show this, man, and I'm going to let Brother Mose the Great on here. I'm going to show this real quick clip, and this is coming from an Asian woman. This is her perception, and this is how she feel about this topic and this situation. Let's get into it. Let me share this, and Mose, I got you. Share screen. Oh, right there. And where is it? I think this is it right here. Nope, that ain't the one. Boom, this is the one right here. Let's get into it. Let's hear this sister out.
Ryan Coogler needs to firmly address that he was
Don't start
inspired by a
tripping
Latin
now,
American
cuz.
vampire movie because we are owed our flowers. Also, Ryan, I saw that tamale story you put in the movie. Where's the fucking Latino extras? Come on, Ryan, you're so good at putting Latinos in your movie. What the fuck happened here? You don't put Latinos in the movie, and you steal from the biggest Latino vampire movie.
You
Wasn't
don't
a
even have the
Latino movie.
spine to stand up with the Black community to protect your own rights, but you have the audacity to be mad that you're not in Black movies? Wasn't this you a few years ago?
Ryan Coogler treats Latinos with so much
Watch
love.
what she say, what I've been telling y'all,
because you're one of us now.
Ryan Coogler put a lot of care and thought into historically and culturally representing the Mexican indigenous community in Black Panther, yet here you are biting a hand that fed you by insulting him, claiming he stole from a white man's movie. By the way, a movie where you were portrayed as a villain in your own homeland. The secondhand embarrassment that I get when some Hispanics pathetically come on here and beg for opportunities from the Black community, whether it's thinking you're entitled to a performance spot at Kendrick Lamar's Juneteenth show or being represented in a Black movie. And then the Black community gives you those opportunities. And then what do? Backstab and disrespect like this dude. And that behavior tracks. Looking at those election results just a few months ago, it's not enough that Hispanics already benefit from the civil rights that the Black community fought for. Many of y'all still have the audacity to think you're entitled to have the Black community protesting on your behalf when so many of y'all voted to have our civil rights taken from us. Yet you never have that same energy for your white oppressors. And that's probably because Hispanic men are the most subservient, most obedient to white supremacy. Stop begging for opportunities from the Black community and create your own. Because are you not embarrassed? Where's the reciprocity? You can't even vote right, and that's the easiest fucking thing that you can do.
Booyah! Hey, man, I don't know who that woman is, but I'm loving the fuck out of her, man, on the reels. Because she just said everything that I've been saying since I've been on this internet, saying the things that I've been saying on these internet. Man, the Hispanic community or the Mexican community, whatever you choose to call it, they've been backstabbing us. This goes back to the 16 and 1700s when the white folks came and said, listen, we don't really want to take y'all land. We want to take the land from those dark colored people. We want to give you trinkets. We want to give you ornaments. We want to teach y'all. Man, just help us conquer them and get them to come out of here. Then we can have a better conversation. We can be cool. Listen, take this Bible, take this, stop speaking your native tongue. We don't understand that shit. And speak this right here. Speak Spanish. You want to go on a boat, man? Hey, man, get this nigga on a boat. Let's take the chief on a boat and let's take you to over here. This motherfucker get on a boat and he's never been on an actual ship before, and he's just astounded, like, wow. He'd come back and he'd tell the people of his observations, and they betrayed the Black people, but we fought, well, the melanated, carbonated people, but we was fighting with y'all against these same white oppressors. Hand in hand, Gaspar Yanga and other ancestors and whatnot that was click tight with y'all. We share community. That's where the word Raza come from. It was the cosmic people, the peoples of the cosmos. That's us. That's Black folks, the universal Black man. And then they took the word Raza that represented the mixing of the cultures, and then they made it exclusive to Mexicans. That ain't what Raza mean. I'm a part of the Raza. But they say, Charlie, you're not part of the Raza, fool. But without further ado, man, I want to introduce Brother Mose the Great. I know y'all tired of hearing me just talking and all that. So let's bring Brother Mose the Great up in here, man.
What's happening? Yes,
What's
sir.
the there? Yes, sir.
That lady, man, that was a mic drop right there. She was on point like Stacey Adams. And I just wanted to drive this point home. Mexicans don't have a language. They speak Spanish. And the English language is also a bastard language mixed up with all type of other sorts of languages. It's Greek, it's Roman, it's a lot of different languages. It's Latin mixed all into one. But as far as on the totem,
don't forget it got some African influence too.
It's got some African influence too, but it's not our original language. Just like Spanish is not Mexican. Mexicans don't have language. You don't see people. I speak Mexican. No, they speak Spanish. Just like Cuban people, just like Puerto Rican people, they speak Spanish as well. But the original Spaniards were Roman. In Rome, ancient Rome, they spoke Spanish. Caesar Borgia was an adaptation of Jesus Christ because they didn't know who Jesus Christ was. You know what I'm saying? He was also the image of Ptolemy Soter. A lot of different people had the image of Christ. They didn't know what to call him, so they had the Council of Nicaea. All the people came together. They already believing in it, so they were like, all right. They came to the name Jesus Christ. The letter J wasn't even invented at that time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something that they, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going off the rail. But that lady, hey man, she was on point. Like, I don't know where you got that video from. She was on point like Stacey Adams. You know what I'm saying? But they always want to talk about us and talk about how we don't have history. Well, we have history, but we don't have a culture. They say black people don't have a culture.
Right.
Our blood is entrenched in the soil of the United States of America. We was already here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there's proof and evidence of that we were already here. You know, and we speak in the bastard language just as well as they are. You know what I'm saying? Spaniards are Native American Indians and Spaniards. That's what made up the Mexican, because when they, you know, the conquistadors conquered Mexico, you know, of course, you know who the conquistadors are. They came from Spain. You know what I'm saying? They were European.
Right.
But yeah, man, I was just coming in to drop something on you real quick before I had to get back to work, man. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that, man. Drop by anytime, man. It's an open invitation on the Renanils, man.
Already, man. B1, man. We all we need. We all we got.
Bottom line, peace and blessings, King. Much love. Hey, who next, man? Who coming to pull up, man, and share some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with us? I even want some of our Hispanic, Latino, you know, people to come in and, you know, express your hate. If you want to express your hate, let's do it in a constructive way. Let's come on and let's talk about our differences and our similarities, and let's get into some history, because you cannot talk about Mexican history without talking about or including melanated, carbonated individuals' history as well. They're entwined. You can't have one without the other. Now, if I came over here and said, man, they've been looking for the Mayans, talking about the Mayan civilization disappeared, and then somebody come and say, no, the Mayans ain't disappeared. They them N-words that's down there in Ecuador, Panama, Belize, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, parts of Mexico, they just dispersed. And then they say, oh, no, we found them. We found the descendants of the Mayans. And they went and got some people that they call natives. They came and got some people who are descendants of Asia. Some Asian looking people. Just because they didn't want that truth to get out that the Mayans are still around and they are melanated, carbonated individuals that look like you and I. They wanted to conceal that. No. We can't let N-words get an identity. We can never let N-words identify who they feel or think or know that they are. Why you think a lot of communities that's historically black, they're gentrifying them? Let's take, for example, people's from Watts. Man, we take pride in being from Watts. Man, I'm from Watts. Man, what's the deal? Watts cracking? What's popping? We are taught to survive. We are trained to survive. We take pride in that. And it's only a matter of time when individuals identify with a certain land, a certain culture, or a certain identity, right? That we take pride in it, we possess it, we own it, and then we begin to reverse the conditionings that they have conditioned us for the last 400 years. It's only a matter of time before individuals in Watts start back to get along. The first Crip and Blood peace treaty was in Watts because we understood who we were, who we are, and what we was trying to do. We all cousins, we all related. So what we gonna do? We gonna keep unaliving one another? An individual stood up and said, no, man, we got to stop this SHIT, man. We can do better. And what happened as soon as we unified? The police got with the media outlets and circulated the false narrative that we was connecting to go against the Hispanics. And we were connecting to go against the police. No, we was connecting because we love one another. We was connected because we seen a bigger picture. Brother Sniper from PJs, my big homie. Daou and Aquila Sherrills in elementary from out the Jordan Downs. What's the brother name from out of the Nickersons? Bonnie Hunter BJ. And I think the other dude name was Ty Bud or something like that. My big homie Tony Bogart. Because Tony Bogart at first, because you know he had got hit by the Great Streets. He had did some hitting and they called him. I won't get too deep into it, but they went to the 6-pack East Coast hood where he stayed at. Somebody went over the brick wall with a chop and la 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 la, and he caught most of those things. When he got hit, You know, it's the Hub and Dub. One of the homies from Compton jumped in the car, chased him, and he got either unalived by the police or he crashed, and you know, that's how he met his demise. So Tony Bogart still had a vendetta. Like, no, man, these dudes done popped me up, got me limping, man. It's on with these dudes. But several individuals gave Tony Bogart from the hood, gave Tony Bogart wise counsel. They said, listen, homie, if we don't get this together, it's going to get worse. And it's going to be our kids and our grandkids that's paying for what we couldn't do. Tony Bogart seen the bigger picture. The Gray Streets came to Imperial Courts housing projects. They went in the gym. Tension was so thick that you can cut it with a knife. But when they came up out of that gym, they said it's peace. And it was a celebration like a jubilee. Everybody going crazy. The Gray Streets singing out, you know, shouting out their hood call and so on and so forth. At some point in time, the bounty hunters came, and what did brothers do? They march, a peace march. They began to tie rags together. But it came from, we had an identity of who we are in Watts. But then the movement that we created in Watts, it was corrupted. How did they corrupt the peace movement in Watts? The almighty dollar. I'm going to show you how to set up a nonprofit organization. I'm going to show you what an LLC is. I'm going to show you how to get a 501c3 tax exempt status. And I'm going to show you how to get this money. It's $1 million over there to be gotten. But they did that to peoples from the PJs, the Jordan Downs, the Nickersons, Haciendas, and various other places. So now you got brothers competing for that $1 million. Instead of brothers saying, you know what? You get 100,000, do what you do. I get 100,000, he get 100,000, he get 100,000 until the $1 million is until it's sucked up. But then we begin to compete for that almighty dollar. We begin to compete for the oppressors' resources, connections, network, and acknowledgement. We should have kept them out. So now, as I always say, you got all these intervention and prevention programs, but they ain't really stopping no wars. They got all these connections to the mayor's office, the LAPD. They got a slew of connections, resources, networks. But yet these youngsters are still out here packing these 40s with the 30s on them, and now they got switches and they're plotting to unalive one another. Where did we get lost in the sauce at? Like, where did we lose the way at? We had the way in 1992. But when the Caucasians intervened and brought the aspect and the components of money, brother said, this peace, this is an opportunity for me to get up out of the projects. I don't want to be over here no more. Even though things was thriving, even though things was flourishing, even though things was getting better. Some dude said, no, baby, bring me that money. Let me get up out of here. And this is what happened, homie. They always use their trinkets and ornaments to entice us to turn on one another. So now we back in that cycle of ignorance, destruction, and violence. And my little homies is back beefing with they little homies, and they little homies is beefing with the Nickerson little homies, and these dudes little homies is beefing with everybody. But we had to wait. Back in the 80s, back in the 90s, the unaliving rate was higher. It was more people getting unalived. So you mean to tell me at the height of gang banging, with no resources, no connection, just the love we have for one another, love should conquer all. We was able to pull off this historical event of monumental proportion with no resources, no connections, when individuals was doing the most unaliving. And now that the unaliving rate is declining, you mean to tell me we can't reach these kids with all these connections, all these resources, and all these different forms of money and outreach programs? We can't reach these babies? What's going on? Because it's something that I'm not understanding. When brothers was really serious about this game banger, when Crips wore blue and Bloods wore red, when you didn't act out in a certain type of way, when homosexuality wasn't allowed to be openly expressed in each hood, each faction, you mean to tell me that with this watered down shit that's going on today, we can't find a solution to this shit? And you niggas got all these connections and resources with the governor, with the mayor, with the city council people, with the LAPD, with the Los Angeles County sheriffs, and we can't eradicate or minimize this shit to a point to where we can manage it, us as the people? Why do we continue to let the LAPD and the Los Angeles County Sheriffs come into our communities and fake ass create solutions to our problems? It's not going to work. It's ineffective. Because if they're successful in reducing crime, gun violence, gang violence, stabbing, shootings, home invasions, all this and all that, then they have to fire half of their force. And they have to get a demotion. Nobody works to give themselves a demotion. So you can't trust the LAPD, the Los Angeles County Sheriffs, and their minions to come into our community and resolve our problems because they have a vested interest in us failing. Why do you think the education department is the way that it is? Because if we can keep them undereducated, then they lack the essential tools to effectively communicate and resolve conflict through communication. The lowest form of communication is violence. So when we can't verbally communicate, we get frustrated. I'm a feel like mother. It's no empathy, it's no compassion, it's no understanding because we're undereducated. That's why I went to great lengths to ameliorate and expand my vocabulary when I'm going into these boardrooms. And I'm utilizing sesquipedalian words that they don't even understand. I didn't know that I was marking myself to be a threat. I thought I was educating myself so I can better understand the inner workings of their system. But when I communicated that, they said, ooh, this little motherfucker sharp. When I start getting write-ups and I start looking in the handbooks of what's qualified as what meets the criteria of this, that, and third, and I start using their language, which is their laws, rules, and regulations against them. They called me a manipulator. They said he used circular logic. He used circular some logic to do this. Just because I have a vocabulary that's more broader than you all's, just because I understand your policies and your procedures better than you all, that makes me a manipulator. They hated me. But without further ado, man, ain't nobody else jumping on. I ain't trying to be on this motherfucker just running my mouth talking and all that. I just pretty much wanted to drive that point home. But now that we're on that, let's see if this video play about these traitors who align themselves and submit to the racist teachings of racist Hispanics, formerly known as Sureños. But they want to talk about black business, black politics, black affairs, black interactions, because they are not allowed. They don't have the authorization to talk about the organization that they are representative of. I don't know if a lot of you know, but when you're black and you join the Sureño organization, you can't move up in leadership. You will never be able to be a shot caller. You'll always be a foot soldier. You'll never have no real power. You'll never have no real juice, because why? Like Jay-Z say, still, and that just is what it is. Why would I participate and submit myself and dedicate myself to an organization that hate my people with a passion? And when you look at these two clowns, these two buffoons, you can tell they motherfucking family from about a motherfucking Mississippi, the Delta, the bayous of Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas. You can look at them and tell. These ain't no Caribbean niggas. These ain't no Central American niggas. These are some niggas. You know, forgive me for that, my excessive usage of the word. You understand what I'm saying? But, you know, that word doesn't really affect me because I have analyzed and I have studied and researched what the word actually means. But let's get into this, man. Without further ado, let's check out these clowns. I tried to play one earlier, but it wouldn't go through. And check out this dude trying to get clout and relevance off of us, our culture, and our people. Here we go right here. Check out this buffoon.
All right. Part 2.
Great Street
how I almost got robbed.
Almost get robbed in South Central.
So,
listen to this
like
bullshit.
I said, the nigga bang on me. Where you from? I'm like, I'm from Gray Street. Where you from? He like, oh, I'm from Rolling. Wooty wooty wobble Rolling. I'm like, all right, nigga, I'm from Gray Street. He shake my hand. The other one like, where you from? From Gray Street. He like, wooty wooty wobble Rolling. I'm like, all right. So after that, you know, usually, man, you know how sometimes niggas they'll bang on you and they'll just get on. If y'all don't beef, they'll just get on. But this time they didn't, you know, our niggas have stayed there, however, but they was like, where you from? And shook my hand though. You know what I'm saying? And they just didn't get in the car and leave. Like, you know, I know I got chain on, I got shit on. So the other nigga out the car, the driver, he asked me like, hey, you be over here? I'm like, yep, I'll be around this motherfucker. I'll be over here. So then he like, all right, he like, where you say you from? I'm like, I'm from Gray Street. So then he started walking up, like, where you say you from? So off the dribble, like I said, niggas already shook my hand and everything. So while the nigga getting close, I stopped the nigga halfway in because I'm not about to let a nigga get in my presence, just walk up on me. You know what I'm saying? So nigga extended his hand, he shake my hand. You know what I'm saying? When he shake my hand, he like, what they call you? I'm like, they call me Blackie. He like, Blackie? Like, he was surprised because how a nigga look, my name Blackie. And I'm like, yeah, nigga, I'm an essay. I'm from Wasvato Grape. Like, you know what I'm saying? He like, oh, you from Wasvadio? I'm like, yeah, I'm from Wasvadio. Like, he like, all right. So he jumped in the car. After he jumped in the car, boom, I'm like, all right, yeah. Like, I wasn't feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I wasn't on, like, I'm on the west side. So I wasn't on none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my fly shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but I ain't never gonna turn nothing down, never gonna rank the hood. Dead homie. So they slide off. I get in the car, take hat off, take glasses off, leave chain on. Boom, I put hoodie on. Boom. Nigga, I'm ready. I pull in. Boom. So at that point, and as I pull in, now the niggas start driving around. Like, I see him drive one time, I'm like, yeah, these niggas weird. So I'm on the phone with my cousin. So then they drive by again. So I'm already like, yeah, niggas weird for sure. So now they driving from Gage to Vermont. You know what I'm saying? No, Gage to Florence. So once they get on Florence, they bust a U-turn and come back. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to bust on these niggas. I'm telling my cousin, like, I'm about to bust on these niggas. So right when the car pulled up, like, it passed the street and stopped. So when it stopped, I look at it. Right when I said, hey, nigga, I'm about to bust on these niggas, these niggas hit the corner and heard me say I'm finna bust on these niggas, man. All right.
Come on, cuz. Y'all believe that bullshit, cuz?
Part 2 on how I almost got robbed.
Let me stop this shit, cuz.
So, like I said,
my nigga, how the fuck you gonna see a car go from Gage to Florence or vice versa, go from Florence to Gage? Nigga, that's far as fuck. That's like me saying I seen a car go from Wilmington to Compton Avenue. Man, it's so great of a distance, homie, to where if you feel threatened or you feel like there was going to be some problems, you could have easily slid up out of there, homie, but you stayed and you waited. Then you let him get in close proximity to when you telling your people on the phone, I'm about to bust on these niggas hear you. And they ain't clap your shit up. Like, come on, cuz. They always trying to get stripes off of blacks. They always trying to exploit our culture. They always trying to exploit and use us for like views and any way that they can try to exploit us to get some type of benefit. Come on, cuz. Y'all believe that bullshit ass story? Y'all believe that fictitious ass story? And this dumb motherfucker had the audacity to come on here and make up that bullshit ass story. Oh, some Roland. Where Roland they was from? They did all this and all that, and it's all this talking and back and forth and all that. They let you make it to the car, get comfortable in the car, and then they want to start set tripping and politicking. And if you this big bad gangster, once it's, hey, where you from, my nigga? Man, I'm from Eastside PJ Wash Crib. Westside Wooty Whoop or Wooty Whoop Whoop. All right, if it's shake it out, my nigga. Yeah. We gonna stop that right there. Even in my full-fledged gang banging days, I ain't never really been the type of nigga to do that back and forth. PJ Wash, Wooty Whoop Whoop Whoop, PJ Wash, Wooty Whoop. No, we ain't gonna do all that, my nigga. Because if it's a problem, let's just get down, get this shit out the way, and we can go on about our business. This nigga letting these niggas press him, and you got a burner on you, got a blammer on you, like, man, get that bullshit ass story up out of here. Cuz what's wrong with these dudes, homie? Like my partner say, man, these motherfuckers be going through an identity crisis, homie. Like I was saying earlier, like How would you look at me if I came up talking to you like, what's up, dog? Hey, dog, I'm about to go to the taqueria, fool. Give me some sopes, dog. And I'm about to chow down, fool. Serio perro, homie. How would you look at me if I came up to you talking like that? You'll be like, this motherfucker crazy, right? What about if I came up to you talking like, yeah, what's going on, dude? And yeah, man, we're about to go sling some goddamn mud, get in these big rig trucks, dude. And we're going to go across country, brother, with the Confederate flags. And is that not the same? Because say he from Watts, the Hispanics that's in Watts, being that Watts has a higher population of blacks, the racial elements don't exist in Watts. They don't. I mean, the Southside Grapes beef with the Fudge Towns, but it never went into a full-fledged race war. Our numbers is up in Watts thanks to Imperial Courts, Jordan Downs, Nicholson Garden, Haciendas. But when you go into the residential communities, the population of Watts is majority Hispanic. Hoods like Nut Hood, predominantly Hispanic. The Fudge Town still got a lot of brothers and sisters that stay over there, but it's still predominantly Hispanic. What's some other hoods? Most of the residential communities in Watts, they got black hoods in them. It's now predominantly Hispanic. So the reason why we still got an identity and a fighting chance in Watts is because of the 4 housing projects that's still holding it down. I promise you, if we didn't have those 4 housing projects in Watts, the Soleños in Watts will resort to some racial shit as well. Certain parts of South Central, certain parts of Watts, they talk like us. They emulate and replicate what we do. And being that they got a little influence on the other ones, now you're starting to see a larger demographic of Soleños talking like, what's up, my nigga? Oh, cuz, what's up, fool? Hey, what's up, big dog? You can still detect that. Yeah, what's up, fool? You can still detect a little bit of that, but now it's like, yeah, what's up, fool? Hey, that's my boy, fool. Yeah, that fool. That. Oh yeah, I fuck with cuz, fool. Oh, you heard that new Kendrick shit, fool? Hey, nigga, that shit is hard. That shit go, fool. Yeah, that shit is hard. I fuck with Kendrick, my nigga. Now they talk more like that. Now they starting to wear the retro Jordans and fashion themselves after us, because in their very DNA is a portion of us. And when they get around us, what their DNA begin to do is to vibrate on a frequency of us. So it's hard for them not to replicate and emulate what we do. And a part of us is in their very DNA. Why you think back in the 1930s and 40s, or maybe a little bit older, during the Duke Ellington days and Cab Calloway days, when they were wearing the Zoot suits and all that, why you think the Mexican American community emulated and replicated that? Why you think they play drifting on a memory? Do you ain't no place I'd rather be than with you? Know that I'm living for the love of you. Everything we do, they replicate. They listen to more oldies than we do. They listen to more Tupac than we do. Somebody made a controversial statement. A Hispanic individual made a controversial statement and said that Tupac would not have been great without the support and the acknowledgement of the Mexican community. And I totally disagree. A lot of Mexicans got up on Tupac after the brother had passed away, after he died. When we were wearing Nike Cortezes and whatnot, and as I have said before, Mexicans shouldn't wear Nike Cortezes, because Cortez was a conqueror. He went into their land and he took shit over. He unalived people. He, raped their women and, did a lot of heinous shit to their people. But when we was wearing Nike Cortez and we say, yeah, I'm done with the Cortezes, they picked them up. Give me those, dog. I like that fashion, homie. When we stopped wearing Chucks, they said, give me that, dog. I like that fashion, homie. When our peoples came from the South wearing those thick Pendletons and, those Pendleton jackets and flannels and all that, when we stopped wearing those, they said, give me that. I like that, dog. When we stopped wearing khakis and all the shit that the OGs, triple OGs, double OGs, quadruple OGs was wearing, they said, give me those, dog. But those bands, Give them to me 10 times bigger, homie, and I'm a work with it. Everything we do, they replicate and imitate and emulate. And this isn't me being racist. This is me being a realist. This is me calling a ball, a strike, a strike. Let me give it to you like this. When the young Hispanic brothers, and we love them, cuz on PJ, they are people, right? But when they join our sets, we don't disrespect Mexicans. We don't call them disrespectful terms. But there's several videos of P-Face and other Hispanics using derogatory terms towards blacks while in the presence of blacks. I ain't never seen no video. I'm gonna speak first person I have yet to see a video where an African-American gang member is in front of a Latino individual and he used derogatory terms towards their people. No. And we embrace them so much and we love on them so tightly, homie, you can't tell them that they ain't black, right or wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me, cuz on Crib. If I'm wrong, stop me in my tracks and correct me. The way that we love our Hispanic brothers when they come and join rank with us, homie, you can't even make a distinction between the two. It's some brothers that ride and be unalive for their Hispanic homie quicker than they black homie. This is word is bond. We don't introduce the components of racism to the Hispanic population. We don't, but they introduce it to us. They incorporate it in their day-to-day teachings. It's so hard for us to be racist towards them because we ain't never been taught that. They have been taught that, whether in the household, at school, or in the workforce. We don't teach our kids to be racist. No, for what? We had an abundance of love for the Hispanic community. We looked at them as brothers in the struggle. They looked at us as an opportunity. Like the Asian sister said, it was no reciprocity. We fought for human and civil rights and whatnot that they benefit from right now today. Even Donald Trump said that. Other people's benefit more from the marching and the DEI and DIE, whatever it was, than the African American people who were beaten, incarcerated, and in some cases unalived for these rights that other minorities can enjoy. Our ancestors went through the fire to get these human rights, civil rights. But you think there's a certain level of acknowledgement? You think they acknowledge our sacrifice? No. When we be out there marching, we shall overcome. Doing all that marching like that shit is effective and it works. They population don't say, you know what, let's get out there and march with our black people. No, you probably got like 5, and then they become the ones that they use photo ops with. Yeah, we had a situation in a connection with the Brown Berets way back in the days, but now we different with a different type of Hispanic population is more prone and inclined to embrace their European side versus their melanated carbonated side. See, they taught the world to hate us, and they taught us to hate ourselves. On PJ, they taught the Armenians, don't trust the blacks. So now the Armenians and the Hispanics got an amazing relationship. They taught the East Indian men that came over here and opened up all these convenience stores, don't trust the blacks. The Hispanics, they're cool. They taught everybody to dislike blacks. And instead of teaching us to dislike everybody, they told us to dislike ourselves. That's crazy. They taught the world to hate us. And the world hate us. Now they're trying to brainwash the Africans from Africa to dislike, resent, and hate us. Oh, y'all different from them. They lazy. They're poor. They have no aspirations. They have no ambition. You, my friend, on the other hand, you're better. Yeah, I am better. I come from Africa. So my perception of success is different. I do not come to join the African Americans in their fight and be disobedient to your power structure. No. I come to be obedient, and I come to put my children to school. No problem for me. This is real business, cuz. They taught the whole world to hate us and taught us to hate ourselves. How do we stand up against those type of odds, cuz? I'm just saying, like, let a nigga know, like, Everybody hates us, and then we hate one another. And then those of us who are liberated from their conditioning and say, hold on, cuz, that shit ain't regular. This shit ain't normal. They say, oh, fuck you, nigga. You think you smart. Oh, you want to be a Malcolm X, Martin Luther King ass nigga. Nigga, fuck that nigga. And then when you say, hold on, my nigga, I come from the same struggles, the same situations and environments as you, nigga. I ain't no punk bitch. Nigga, I get on your ass. Oh, that nigga ain't no real righteous brother. That nigga ain't no real nigga of knowledge. That nigga's a gangster pretending to be Malcolm X. So we just supposed to let you niggas just throw rocks at us and disrespect us because we have a different outlook on our people. We see the importance of us unifying and then resurrecting our communities, restoring the former glory back to our women. It ain't a woman in the world that can touch you when you know who you are. But when you're not operating in your right capacity, then you're nothing more than a bitch. And the world is going to constantly remind you of that because they made the black woman the poster child for the word bitch. But a black woman who knows herself, oh man, it ain't nothing that can, ain't a motherfucking thing that can touch her, cuz. Because she going to give you nourishment. She going to give you understanding. She going to give you empathy. And when you feeling down and you feel like I can't go on no more, she going to tell you, you better get it together. We believe in you. We need you. Go out there and be the conqueror that you're destined to be. And that shit gonna swell your pride up and you're gonna be like, yeah, I can do anything. My old woman believe in me. When you ain't going home to a nagging woman and so on and so forth and all this and all that, homie, that's motivating. Hardships is supposed to come from outside the household and not inside. But our women have to rediscover who they is. I'm not, we'll get into that at another time. Hold on, my Chicago partner says something. Hey, my computer about to die on PJ. My Chicago partner say F-U-C-K Darasa. I'm not gonna say that because Darasa was a mixed community that was headed by melanated carbonated peoples that went into Los Angeles and created the city of Los Angeles and created other cities throughout California. Darasa was individuals like Pio Pico that they named the street Pico after, which was a melanated carbonated person that was a Afro-Mexican that was the last governor of California when it was under Mexican control. So the Darasa isn't what the Hispanics pretend that it is. It was a mixed community. I will read all these comments, but my computer about to die, man. I'm about to get up off this thing. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I wish somebody else would have macked in on me, came into the box, man, and we could have engaged in some meaningful dialogue, but I understand everybody is busy. Some people's a camera shy, so I'm not going to hold y'all. Too black, too strong. We all we need, we all we got. Let's live in peace before we have to rest in peace.